Ready?
Hello, and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, the video game music podcast. This is episode 5-10, episode 50. I'm your host, Rob Nichols, and with me...
You don't do that!
I do that now!
Way to switch it up. I'm Purnell, still.
And you're over there.
Episode 50.
Episode 50, episode 50.
All that caffeine you had earlier today is really getting you.
I'm gonna crash in about 5 minutes.
Well, no, in 60 minutes, because we got a show to do.
Okay, yeah. So on the show, every week we pick a topic, and we pick some classic, modern video game music, and we get down. We listen to it, we comment on it, and we appreciate it.
And sometimes we actually get pretty darn funky. But I have to say, I don't think that's going to happen this episode, because we have a pretty interesting topic choice that will be more for contemplation and listening than it will be for grooving. And what topic is that?
The topic this week, we're going to call it emotional music, or music that evokes emotional resonance. And we have a guest today who picked the topic for us, and just to help us out. Daniel, thank you for joining us. We're big fans of your music, and I'm really glad that you can make it on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Great. So, what can you explain? What made you think of this topic? Was there a certain track, or was there a certain memory, or something in mind when you decided to choose this?
Well, in general, whenever when I listen to music or when I write music, it always makes me think of the power that music has on the human body, and the most obvious one is emotionally. It can affect you in many different ways, and tying that in with all the games I used to play when I was younger, that was the main reason why those games became some of my favorites and have stuck with me through the years.
Right.
So yeah.
So I guess we should tell our audience. Aethernaut is would you say that you're a chiptune artist specifically, or just a musician or a producer? How would you describe your music?
Well, if I'm describing Aethernaut, I would say that I am a chiptune musician. But I also write other styles of music and genres of music, but with different monikers. So yeah, with Aethernaut, chiptune musician is what I would say.
Great. Yeah. Well, I really, really like the sound. I feel like it does have a lot of emotional resonance. I want to say we didn't pick it for this show. We'll be playing some of your music towards the end of the show. And actually, we played one of your tracks on the Chiptune Spectacular episode, I think 1 or 2 episodes back. But the one that we didn't pick was called Poolside Dreams. And I listened to that, and it just takes me away somewhere, man.
Admittedly.
That one is, yeah, when I wrote that one, I, for some reason, was picturing some sort of, what's that one movie? Like Lost in Translation type setting. Yeah.
No, I can totally see that. Like kind of in another country or in a foreign place that's kind of alien to you. You feel a little out of place, but there's kind of a peacefulness in being out of place.
Yeah, and I don't know, some college sweetheart, slow motion movie montage kind of thing.
Well, I really like that.
Actually, that poses an interesting question for me too, because obviously I've never written a track that didn't involve food and just hackneyed lyrics, so I can't comment on the construction of music. But typically when I listen to music, I have a penchant for kind of creating a landscape or a scenario based on what I'm listening to. And you just described that when you wrote your music, you had something in mind. Does that image come to you as you're writing the music, or do you kind of start out knowing what you want it to sound like or resonate with and go from there?
It changes from song to song, really. Sometimes it happens out that way, and sometimes I have nothing but a blank canvas in my head. And just, maybe a melody or a drum beat, whatever comes first, and then it kind of just expands from there.
Cool.
Yeah. So it really just depends.
Well, we will grill you more once we get into your tracks because I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions about like your inspiration and everything. But let's get into the music. It's an even number episode, so I get to kick us off today. I've started with a track from an indie game I didn't hear of before until about a week ago. I think you're really going to appreciate it. It has kind of a same sensibility of some of your music. So the game is called Tower of Heaven. Have you heard of this one, Pernell?
No.
Oh.
Sounds like he did.
Do you?
I am familiar with it, yes.
Yes, okay, great, yeah. So, it came out on PC back in 2008. You can play it through a browser right now. And the track I chose is called Pillars of Creation, and the artist name, the only artist name that I could find was Flashy Goodness. Which
sounds like a winner to me.
So we're going to play that track. So we'll come back. That is Pillars of Creation from the game Tower of Heaven for the PC by the artist Flashy Goodness. And I chose this track because it sounds adventurous, but it also sounds like really like contemplative. And I'm really a big sucker for anything that has like a lot of rising chords with like just like the same arpeggiation or same bass line that's like continuing, but then like the notes like rise and rise and rise and rise. It's just, and then everything gets like more and more, I don't know. It just, to me, this is like, this makes me feel nostalgic in a way.
I've got this weird corny perception of it because as you were describing it, and I was thinking about like, how does this kind of track make you feel? And it's hard to describe, but essentially if you have ever pictured a movie trailer or like an intro to a show and the music starts to play, there's always that part, well, if it's the kind of show, mind you, where it gets to a rather uplifting component and one or more characters are just kind of looking out and upward, as to what basically just like dreaming of what's to come or what they're about to embark on.
Yeah, looking to the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what this music gives me the impression of. I think about it being overlaid with that, and it's very nice. I'm definitely a fan of this.
So, Aethernaut, have you had experience with this music or with this game?
A bit of both. Usually when I come across a pixelated game, the music is by an artist that I would very much listen to separate from the game.
Yes.
And so like another one would be the soundtrack for Fez, done by Disaster Piece.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
was a fantastic game and a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah, very much. That's one of my favorites. That one, and I think we talked about it on IM before, but Hyper Light Drifter, also by Disaster Piece. I can just listen to that just all day long. But yeah, I ran into the soundtrack and then I started playing the game, it's kind of like, I didn't get very far in it. I just kind of stopped. But you're like a little, it's all done in a Game Boy style. It looks like it's all the green and grays, and you're a little man with a giant onion head. I don't know if that's on purpose.
I'm already interested in Onion Head.
His head looks like an onion, and it's like a puzzle platformer. and you're trying to reach up higher through this tower. And every stage it gives you new laws, and you can't touch on the clear blocks, and the clear blocks start flashing, so you can't touch on those. Another one, you can't touch on the sides of blocks or the sides of walls.
Okay, so you're not like creating the platformer.
No,
you're
no,
actually
no.
engaging in it, but there's things you're not allowed to do as you progress.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's funny is that what was funny to me was that the music like transcends like kind of like this simple like puzzle platformer. So it makes me think that the game probably gets much deep later on.
Now,
I
the
just
most
didn't play
important
that
part, though, you're telling me that this guy's head resembles an onion.
It's huge. It's enormous.
Coming from Overcooked, which includes the Onion King, which is like the best part of that game for some reason. I want to play more Onion Head games. So.
Like on the Wii or whatever, like there's like the Miitomos where like they run around like they're gonna fall over.
Oh, he does that too?
No, he just looks like that.
Oh.
I mean, it's done like in a really old school style.
So you can just imagine that the tumble could occur at any minute.
Yeah.
Whether it happens or not.
Whether it happens or
know.
not. Yeah. All right, so yeah, that's my track. It's older style. I think it was from all I know from the artist that he composes with Fruity Loops and with Famine Tracker. So that's where he's getting a lot of that sound from, and then all the other sounds in the composition sound through Fruity Loops. All right, so what did you bring to the table?
All right, take your dancing shoes off because you won't be grooving to this. Whereas, like,
yeah, we went different directions.
Yeah, we did. With the exception of my bonus track, I would say that the tracks that I selected were based around games where the actual event that the music played in fused with the music itself, and it together created what invokes the emotion to me.
Yeah, you tend to have more experience with the gameplay itself than I would, or I just wouldn't remember.
And I will tell you right now, both of the games I have today are games that I recommend to anybody and their grandma. So just be prepared for that. But
I have some questions about what your grandmother's playing.
She needed to be playing games.
Because the tracks you picked. But go ahead.
All right, so the first track I picked is from an old survival horror classic that could always use more love, and that game is Silent Hill 2. The track itself, yes, he loves it. He knows what's up. And the track itself is called Promise Reprise, and it is by the great and always talented Akira Yamaoka. Welcome back, folks. You are listening to, or rather you just listened to, the song Promise Reprise from this game Silent Hill 2, written and composed by Akira Yamaoka. This track, I would say, eludes a sense of sadness and also innocence. And I would say that also ties into where it plays within the game.
I want to tell you, this song to me sounds like guilt, like you're going to tell someone a secret. Like it sounds like you're holding a secret back, and that kind of leads into the game where I can't remember his name anymore. The character, the lead character.
James.
Yeah, James. Is racked. Thank you. He's racked with I'm so bad at this.
It's all good.
So I decided to make a podcast about it. Or he's racked with guilt throughout the game. So I think that kind of evokes that same emotion.
But here's where it gets interesting, though. You like the tide. You have the right. Well, I think you have the right idea for like the guilt part, but the character association has to move just a tad. It's like a NPC in the game named Angela, and as far as I'm concerned, statute of limitations is up on this game. It's been out forever, so there you go. But yeah, I'm not gonna give everything away. But as we all know, the game Silent Hill involves a town with mystical properties that has a penchant for bringing people in to essentially punish them for things that have occurred within their lives, and it kind of feeds off of that. And this particular character, I think, is one of the few people in the series that I personally feel is completely and utterly a tragic character. Like, James, as we know, had his demons and whatnot, but I never really found him as tragic. He's more like, okay, something bad happened in my life. I did something to resolve it, but I feel guilty about it. This character had an awful... Her name is Angela Orozco, and her entire life was just abysmal. Like, she was physically and emotionally abused by her mother, her father, and her brother. And she had no real people to turn to for help or support, and it just dragged her down a dark, dark path. And eventually, her mother left the family and just left her with her father and her brother, who continued to abuse her until one day she said no more, and she murdered both of them. And she ran. And she ran to Silent Hill looking for her mother. And she spends the entire game trying to find her mother, but she's also so emotionally damaged that there's pretty much no redeeming her. And she constantly contemplates suicide and is just sad. And the thing that stands out to me the most about the character, and where this track always comes into me, and I think I've even mentioned this to you before years ago, is at the very end of the game, once the main character understands what he did and why he's in Silent Hill, he bumps into this character again, and they have a conversation pertaining to, like, kind of brings out more of her situation, like where she's upset with him and she's still looking for her mom, and she gets back to the point of contemplating suicide, and she asks the main character for a knife weapon that he originally took from her way back at the beginning of the game because she wants to use it. And he goes, no, I'm not going to give it to you. And she basically says, I figured as much. You can't take care of me. You don't care about me. You're just like every other person in my life. And she walks off. And the main character's feeling guilty about that because he basically just pushed her to kill herself at this point. And he notices that the entire room that they're in is on fire. It's ablaze. And he goes, holy cow, it's hot. Well, I used to say holy cow because, come on, there's no drama in that. But he basically says, wow, it's hot as hell in here. And she goes, oh, you noticed. This is how it always is for me.
Oh, that's right. I've forgotten about that scene. That was so powerful.
It really hits you.
Her world, her reality is different from everyone else's. Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
And it just hits you. So I hear this music. Heck, I'm not kind of shaking right now. But I hear this music, and I remember the character that it's based on, and it really does hit me like a sack of hammers. It's a very well-written character, and it makes you very sad for the fact that how they were written that well.
Yeah, that's amazing. So do you think that we're on the mark with the topic that you had in mind?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This is it's going down paths that I had completely forgotten about. So I think this discussion is a very good one. It's going very well so far, I think.
Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Absolutely.
All right, so this next one is Surprise, a game I've never played. It's for the Super Famicom.
And for the record, we're going to remedy some of these.
I started to. You saw me playing games when you came in the house.
That is true. This show has changed them for the better.
I was playing games that were horrible.
Yeah, that's true. But this is in preparation for another show we're doing real soon.
Yeah, with bad games, with good music. So anyway, my next track is from the game Live Alive for the Super Famicom. This is composed by Yoko Shimomura, and the track I chose is called Prelude to the Demon King. And again, this is Live Alive for the Super Famicom. Okay, and we're back. That was the prelude to the Demon King from the game Live Alive for the Super Famicom by Yoko Shimomura. I love this song. Like, it just, first of all, this soundtrack is large for a Super Famicom game. Well, I guess not large for like an RPG, but it's got a lot of amazing tracks. It's just one of these soundtracks I keep going back to look for music, because it's just so many good tracks. And this one, like, as soon as like that second part comes in, where the percussion kind of cuts out and like these violins sweep in, I forget that I'm listening to Nintendo music for a second there. Like, it sounds amazing, and it just gives me like goosebumps every time it comes through. Like the sweeping like violin sections, and even that church chime that you mentioned earlier. Yeah, that thing comes in and it's just amazing right here. I love it. I keep waiting for this to come around every single time.
Well, bits of this I can definitely tell is Shimomura's style, which, for the record, I can't remember what her first game is, mind you, but I got this feeling that maybe she was one of the people that brought this level of grand composing to Super Nintendo products, because I'm sure everyone in this room and online has dabbled in the Kingdom Hearts series, which she is another grand composer, or she does a lot with. And
oh yes,
this sounds a lot like something you'd hear in Kingdom Hearts 2, doesn't it? Like,
it does.
Yeah, like this is her style.
Yeah. I'm thinking about like maybe 3 or 4 different games right now just from listening to that one track.
Yeah, you can hear a lot of like all of her different influences coming in. What's funny is every time I hear Yoko Shimomura, I immediately think Street Fighter 2. but this is definitely Kingdom Hearts. Like,
is it because her music kicks butt?
No, well, she composed Street Fighter 2.
I know, but I like my joke better.
And yes, she kicks butt. So many good games under her belt.
Now, like, I did try to get use out of this game. I used to run an RPG of the Month Club a long time ago, and this was one of the games that came up, and I started it, but I didn't quite stick it out. I can't remember what the issue was for me. I just think it maybe at the beginning didn't grab me like I wanted to, and I didn't give it the time to stick. But it made me think I need to go back and give it another look-see.
Give it a shot. Give it a shot, because I'm never going to.
Well, of the 2 games I picked today, you need to play one of them, at least one of them. One is short, and one is not.
All right, yeah. Okay.
He thinks I'm joking. Silent Hill 2 is not a long game.
I played it. I finished it. I loved it.
We got to play it again.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
You got to play it in front of me.
Exactly. I got to see you play it.
It's one of the first games that I played with my wife. As man and wife, we played Silent Hill 2.
Baby, this is how much I love you. How much do you like sobbing? Because I got a game for you. It's like, no.
It was a good experience. Anyway, so let's go on to your final track then.
All right. Well, another product, different. Well, I guess there's still a little bit of the sadness in there, but it's for a different sort of reason. Actually, it's far less tragic reason, thankfully. So hopefully you guys enjoy this track from one of my by far all-time favorite games out there. It is Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga.
That reminds me of a callback from the last episode, but keep going.
Oh, this is going to be good.
I forgot. I wanted to mention something, but go ahead.
Digital Devil Saga, and the track is called Spider String, the Second Movement, and it's composed by Shoji Meguro. Welcome back. You are listening to the track known as Spider's String, the second movement from the game Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, and is written and composed by the artist known as Shoji Meguro. This track, I like it, but at the same time, it's hard to gauge if the listener, outside of knowledge of the game, would have an would evoke some emotion from it. So I'll ask you guys first.
All right. Well, I gotta say, the beginning of this track, I got like a kind of like a special victims unit kind of feeling, you know, like more like a detective gumshoe, and then the guitar comes in, and it's like, oh, now it feels like a late night USA, you know, early '90s TV show, Silk Stockings. That's what I'm hearing.
Wow, there's a throwback.
And while I'm remembering it, I want to call out on the last episode we talked about dark funk. You remember that?
Oh yeah, dark funk from
dark
this.
Funk. This is a dark funk. Yeah. Because one of our listeners, Jeff Leopard. Mm-hmm. His name was Jeff Leopard from Retro Shred. He commented that, or he sent me an email, I think, about dark funk, and he said that Thriller, because oh my.
The Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent Price. Yeah, Vincent Price does a horror rap in the middle of the song.
So clearly I need to go back and pay that another listen.
So I'm like, oh, that's right. I completely forgotten about that. But yeah, so Shin Megami Tensei, the soundtracks are always like kind of got that dark, usually with a chunky guitar and a heavy rock beat, or like a really echoey beat with like a lot of like really minor dissonant pianos.
Yes.
Like that. When I think of Megaten, I think of that kind of stuff.
So how about you? Did you like what would you say you got from this track?
What I got from this track, I felt like it was a moment before a pinnacle boss fight. That's kind of like, it has gravity to it. To me, it says something big is coming. And then, you know, when all the guitars and stuff kick in, it's like, oh, it's here.
He nailed it. What happens at this point, how to put this note without going to the whole game. Okay, basically, the game takes place in a place called the Junkyard, and there's a bunch of different people who are down there fighting for control of it. And they're pretty much, you know, kind of emotionless, just drones. And then one day, something happens, and they all develop monstrous tendencies. They called it the Atma, and they meet this girl at the same time. And through this Atma power and the meeting of this girl, they all simultaneously acquire emotions that they never had before. So they all start to have to learn how these emotions work, while at the same time they're thrust into this game by quote-unquote God, who tells them, at this point, we're going to step up the stakes of this world you're in, and the team or gang that conquers all the other gangs, as in kills them, and remains the sole group, can ascend to basically truth or understanding. So throughout the game, these gangs are fighting and brawling, and towards the end of the game, the girl starts to realize something really, really important. And the main character and his team have grown attached to her. They've developed a bond with her. And as she realizes this situation, she tries to push away from everybody. She says, no, I got to do this myself. I got to handle it myself. And she pushes everyone off, and she runs into this ascending tower that exists at the center of the world to eventually do what she wants to do, which is basically where the god of the world is supposed to reside too. So the music you just heard is when your team of characters enter the tower to find her and stop her from doing whatever it is she thinks she needs to do. And as you progress to the tower, there's like 3 different progressions of the song. The first progression is at the beginning of the tower for the first few floors.
Oh, interesting.
And then
like those are different like loops.
Yeah.
That eventually come together. Oh, that was like in the Persona 3, where like at the different parts of the tower were like the same track, but like they added more.
They added more to it.
Yeah.
And then there's the first part, then there's the second part, and at like the very last floor or two, that huge, because you know the part that he was talking about, where the big battle's about to take place. That's when that kicks in, and the sky opens up, and you're like, "Crap, things are about to go down. I don't know what's about to happen."
It does sound like a storm.
And the other part of the emotion that comes in here is that, again, the entire purpose of you climbing the tower is to help your you've been playing with Hannibal for 30 plus hours, but your new friend, you want to help her, you want to stop her from doing this thing. And as you progress through the tower, at certain points you see a ghostly image of her walking along very sadly, because what she's doing it out of despair. She doesn't want to, but she knows she has to. And you spend this time fighting monsters and ascending, and you just want to get to this point to help her. It's not even it's still a game, but it's an emotional game. And you want to save your friend for whatever fate awaits her. And then when you get to this part, to put it in perspective, a whole new game comes after this. Like, it opens up a lot.
Oh, wow.
It's an amazing game. Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2. And if you like RPGs, it should be on your list. It's that good.
Now, that's PlayStation 2. Were they ever re-released anywhere?
Actually, yes. Digitally, you can get them on the PS4, I believe. Maybe definitely PS3, but I believe PS4 also.
Oh, cool.
So they are around, and they're cheap. So,
Dan, do you have any experience with the Shin Megami Tensei series?
I don't, but now I would like to play them. I have a PS4, so I'm going to look for it.
Yeah, definitely check it
Nice.
out. And if you have an emulator, the first, I think, 2 games were for the Super Nintendo, and they're very, very strange. Very, very strange. So
I like strange.
yeah, like nightmarish strange.
and
so,
they got fan translations,
Yeah,
so
they
it's
did.
not even like yoinking them because they were never released here in the first place. So they're solid pickups.
Got it.
Cool. Well, this
Excellent.
is the part of the show where we do the bonus round.
Bonus round.
I like that one. That was a good one. Thank you. The bonus round is the part of the show where we play covers and remixes based on today's theme. We have a special guest. I thought that we could have Aethernaut here play two of his favorite tracks, and then we'll play 2 covers based on the theme of today. So, because I really want to showcase your music, and then maybe hear about maybe your inspiration or what went into that track, or maybe some of your performances. I've seen some of your live performances on YouTube, and I'm really impressed.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're just fun to watch. But yeah, why don't we get into your first one? You sent me 2, so you can just pick whichever one you want to go first with.
Let's go with Theme Park.
Yeah.
Oh, that could totally, I could hear that playing over a best of experience, like a montage of my trip to Hershey Park from 1995 yearly through 2006. That is really, really good.
Yeah, when I bought the album, this is from the album that you have Super Ultra Mega, right?
Super Mega Ultra.
Super Mega Ultra. Yeah, when I first heard this track off that album, I was like, this is the Purnell song. Like, he loves that, like, that kind of swing, kind of, not always happy, positive, but like, yeah, like kind of rock, not rocky, but like a rock forward swing.
When you're listening to a track that not only makes you sway, but makes you grin while you do it. And there is a difference. There are tracks that don't make you actually smile. This track made me smile. That is a very special thing that music can do for a person.
Yeah.
And this track has the it.
So about the track, I really this like third or fourth time listening through it now, I really liked how you introduced more instruments throughout the song. I feel like it started more like kind of chippy, and then you kind of brought in more drums, and there's more of like a bass. I think like an upright bass. So can you tell us about the track?
So this track is called Theme Park, and it is something that I kind of wanted to invoke with it. Mm-hmm. Like almost every single time that I've been to a theme park growing up, it's always been a fantastic time. Like, I've always been super happy to go. And I also really like ragtimey, sort of like old gypsy jazz kind of music.
Cool.
And so I thought, hey, why not kind of do the same thing? But with chiptune. Yeah, I really wanted to start the piece with a basic kind of chip sound.
Yeah.
And then kind of just build it and build it and build it until it has kind of a grand finale. Like maybe you went on a couple roller coasters and you were waiting in line for like the one, or like the big one that is like new, or that you are now tall enough to ride.
No, I like that. I think that totally
Or in my
comes through.
case,
Yeah.
when I was 4 years old, I was tall enough to
Yeah.
I'm too tall.
He's sitting down now, but Purnell is about 9 feet tall.
Well,
No, he's not.
that's impressive.
But his shoe size, definitely.
I'm really tall.
So you were enjoying the theme parks well before.
Oh yeah, I was getting in it, and it's kind of funny. Like you said, like you mentioned roller coasters, and during listening to the song, remember I said like I could see this running over a montage of things that I did at the amusement park. There was actually one event that happened that really did run through my head while this track was playing. Years ago, I'm talking like maybe 15 or 16, even maybe 14. I was at Hershey Park with my brother. Got on a roller coaster, which I used to be afraid of, but now I'm like, I could do anything. Roller coasters are nothing. And I'm riding all ballsy and hacky, excited, and my glasses go flying off my face. This is like whoosh.
I think I remember that.
And
Can you tell me about that?
I freaking out. I get off the roller coaster, like, oh, I'm in so much trouble. I can't find my glasses. My brother's like, don't worry, we'll find them. Like, they flew off my face on a roller coaster. How am I going to find these things? So I'm walking around the park. He's walking with me. I'm just upset as it gets. And he's still trying to have a good time because he's not his glasses, whatever. And
What a nice brother.
he was helping me look for him, too. But he didn't want to come down to my level of misery or whatever. And then what ends up happening is, out of nowhere, I guess someone overhears us talking about it, and he goes, oh, those were your glasses. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, they found those. They found those. Go over to the, I can't remember what he said where to go, but we went over to go to the place where he sent us to, and sure enough, the lady behind the booth had my glasses. And I said, how did you find them? She said, funny thing, they hit someone in the face while they were on the duck boat ride. And they turned them in.
Oh, man.
So can you just picture riding in a duck boat? It's like, wham!
Are those the same glasses you normally wear?
Not well. Those glasses. It's like it was one pair before those glasses.
Okay.
But they are now broken anyway. They're long gone. But yeah, I put my glasses through nightmares and then some. But that wasn't to me. That was like a miraculous scenario. And the fact that lady didn't take the glasses and like smash them over her knee or whatever.
Well, who would do that, man?
A
Really?
person who got hit in the face by them. Come on. Just Just picture that. You're listening to his music. Listen to Aethernaut's music.
If I was walking around happy-go-lucky and then having a great time with that song running through my head, and then glasses hit me in the face, I wouldn't be angry about the glasses. I'd be worried about who lost them.
See, I like the way you think, because my thought would have been, they'd be like, whose glasses are these? Just the heck with this, and just throw them in the water. But thankfully...
You're a jerk.
I'm not a jerk. I wouldn't have done that. But hey, I'm just thankful that person did not throw my glasses away, because I did not lose my allowance when I got home.
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have been a seagull that just, hit you in the face while you were on the roller coaster.
Oh, jeez, that sounds painful.
Oh, man.
Wham!
All right, so why don't you introduce your next track?
This next one is called Saturday Morning, and it is off an EP called Sugar Not Chunder Crisp. And the reason why it's called that is because it's a split EP with another chiptune artist called the Chunderfins. And the theme of the EP is breakfast cereal. With this particular track, I wanted to invoke the nostalgia of waking up early on a Saturday morning so you could get your cereal and watch your favorite cartoons. And so that's the basic idea of this track.
All right,
I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Let's do it. We gotta play this before Pernell's gonna tackle me and hit the play button here. So let's hit the play button now.
Okay, I got it.
Hey, get up. You know what day it is? It's Saturday.
That was awesome. I love that.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. Can you see Pernell dancing while the song was playing?
Oh, that was,
Okay, yeah.
that was really good. And
Oh, thank you.
in my head, it kind of played a thing. Well, first two things. One thing is that I'm that weird guy who likes to make jokes and say, well, joke, but kind of serious how you always hear people have these, like, as we're adults, are always like, well, the problem with American society as it's gotten to now is X, Y, Z, and blah, blah, blah. There's always something political or, just always a lot of nonsensical things or awful, frustrating things. But to me, the true downfall was the day they stopped broadcasting Saturday morning cartoons. Because that's,
I know, right?
Yes, it's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Is that the reason you don't wake up early anymore?
Yes, that's exactly the reason. That is exactly the reason. Because growing up, I did not want to get out of bed for school. I was all about sleeping in, but on Saturdays, that changed. I had to get up. And do you remember on Fridays, they would have at the beginning of the Saturday morning cartoon season on TGIF, they would have that Saturday morning preview special? That's how big a deal it was. They had people come out to get you hyped for Saturday morning cartoons.
I remember previews.
Yes, it was so awesome. And even though we live in an age now where media is consumable and you want to watch a show, it's accessible in like 10 different places at any time. It's not even hard to get any kind of entertainment you want.
Yeah.
But there has never, in my opinion, been a period of hype and excitement for a TV show like we got from Saturday morning cartoons. Both anticipating them and watching them.
Even the commercials that they played in between the cartoons on Saturday morning were iconic.
Yes.
Yeah, we remember all of them.
Mm-hmm. And it's always
I remember commercials for Rembrandt toothpaste. Come on.
it was awesome. And it's also kind of funny in its own way because you would as a kid I also used to record TV shows. Set the timer, let it run, and. Remember when we were kids, we would watch them again. You're like, okay, I've seen this before. You fast forward through it. But now as an adult, I crave those ads. I want to see the old commercials, the Micro Machines man going rambling off about the gas station and service center.
Yeah, it's different. It's different now.
It's just, yes, it's different.
It's just different.
A good way to put it.
Earlier this week, we were running around singing the theme song to what is it? The Skip It commercials. Remember that?
Doing a good jump to hop hop, but the very best thing of all, there's a counter
on the ball.
Try to beat your very best score. See if you can jump a whole lot more. Oh my God!
Skip it.
Oh, and then they would say the maker of the toy, and you go to your mom, and you're like kicking her, like, Mom, I want to skip it. Like, I'm gonna make you skip it, all right? You better stop kicking me.
I know that was one of those things where I saw the commercial, and I'm like, I know I am not coordinated enough to play with that toy.
I still tried though. I tried.
No way. Even then, I knew.
I love Saturday morning cartoons, and then listen to the song itself. I could totally see, you started off, and it was like, what this Saturday? I pictured the kid running downstairs, getting the box out, pouring it in the bowl, and he's about to take a bite. Someone takes it and pulls it away, and he gives chase. And the entire song is him running through various Saturday morning cartoons with characters trying to retrieve his stolen bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
It is freaking awesome.
Love it.
This was, oh my God.
Captain Crunch is a pirate.
Yes.
After your...
No, it wouldn't be him. It'd be the Soggies.
The Soggies.
The Soggies. Captain Crunch was awesome.
All right. I'll leave Captain Crunch alone.
You leave him alone.
And the Crunch Berries.
And the Crunch Berries. But now I have to ask.
I've evoked an emotional response.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, and how, man?
I'm not going to be able to stop him for the
I am on a high and then some right now. But now I got to ask, favorite cereals. What was your favorite cereal as a kid?
Oh, man. Frosted Mini Wheats.
As a kid?
Yeah. The frosted kind.
Okay. Well, okay. It has sugar on it. How about you?
Oh, man. So it changed a few times, but one of them was Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, yeah.
Fruity Pebbles were awesome.
One of them was...
I went out for ice cream when I was, a few months ago when it was still warm, and I got Fruity Pebbles on top of it. It just took me back to being 5 or 6 years old, but I was old enough to enjoy it with a beer. It was awesome.
I think mine, It's weird because growing up, my dad used to take us to. We used to get the cheapo cereals, the big bags you get from like the Save-A-Lot or whatever. So I would envy the kids at school who had like Lucky Charms and Captain Crunch. We had Croco Crunch and Marshmallow Stars.
Oh, that's good stuff too.
Oh man.
Yes. But I will say though, there was something about Croco Crunch that was actually better than Captain Crunch. Like I can't say that for the other cereals like that, but Croco Crunch was way better than the Captain cereal. To the point where I actually felt like I could brag to kids about that. I was like, you got that knockoff fakey stuff. I got the real cereal. They only hide it in the dollar aisle at the grocery store.
I don't know what it is, but like the crunch berries that they added to Captain Crunch, those just like I did not like those at all.
Really?
Well, they didn't taste like fruit. Like
That is true. That is true. If you were coming from Fruity Pebbles and going to Crunch Berries, there's no contest there.
yeah,
Nope.
like that flavor was designed for those little flakes, not like an enormous like flavor bomb of styrofoam.
And then they had the audacity to come up with Oops All Berries later. Like,
yeah.
mercy.
Oh, and then I also remember on some of the colder days when I didn't want to have cereal because the milk was cold, I would have oatmeal, and I always had the oatmeal with the dinosaur eggs in them.
Oh, that was nice. I love that stuff.
I've never heard.
Yup.
I have never heard of that.
You really?
No.
Oh, they were awesome.
Oh.
And they had the commercials for them. And the kids were the archaeologists. And they were looking for the dinosaur eggs. And
Yeah.
of course, they'd be
You're
friends with
missing out, man.
dinosaurs. Yeah, you did. But it's not too late. I think you might still be able to find some. I don't think they're really, they're not out there like common.
Yeah.
But I think they do still sell them in certain grocery stores. You need to go on a mission.
I don't know if my older body will be able to handle dinosaur eggs and my oatmeal.
Oh, just once. Your body can handle the rush.
You just got to try it once, man. Just
I've
try it.
learned. I've learned. Okay, so now we're going to get into the covers that we picked for the show, and I went back to like an old favorite of mine, and I was going to pick this for my original track. This is "Radical Dreamers" from Chrono Cross, and I swear every time I hear this song, I'm like nearly in tears. Like it just drives me to tears. It's just so beautiful and it's so sad. So I found and it took me forever to find the group again. It is called the Eminence Symphony Orchestra, and I found this ages ago, and I had to go out and find it again. And it's beautiful, it's sad, and it's just got it's a much larger sound. I'm gonna let the music speak for itself. So enjoy. And that was Radical Dreamers from the game Chrono Cross by the Eminence Symphony Orchestra. I love that track. I love that song, and I love the way that arrangement takes it into kind of different places. Like it's the same, you hear the same theme, but then it's like kind of, it gives a different emotion to that same theme. What do you think?
I don't even know what to describe there. It's like, it was good, yet I also, like, I was trying to find like a place to grab and ride, but instead it just kept sweeping me along. So I was like, it's hard to, I think you probably, I mean, like you've seen episodes, I think Aethernaut, you've probably listened to certain episodes, you might have heard us, like, there's always that moment where like Rob will pick a track like this where it pulls me in, but I just kind of sit through it. Like, it just kind of takes you inward as you listen to it.
Yeah, it's very contemplative. So you kind of lit up when I said Radical Dreamers. So is this one of your favorites?
So the Chrono Cross as a game and I have a rather long history, and the soundtrack and I have another very long history, and it would take up like at least 2 more full podcasts to go through all of that. But this was a very excellent pick, and this is one of my all-time favorite songs. Nice. And even the vocal version with just the sopranos and guitar is an amazing version of it too, and that would always make me tear up. This game to me was. This is going to sound harsh, but I think back when Square Enix still cared about their games.
No, it's not harsh. It's true.
Yeah, I think he's all right with that.
It's 100% true.
Yeah. Because because they actually they had better themes back then. You know, they had better themes in their songs. They had more care put into their orchestral versions of it. Now it's just like, I don't know, there's nothing that really sets apart any of the current Final Fantasies to me.
Right. Yeah, there's no like a central theme that's really distinctive, like how there was. This theme to me, like this game means a lot to me, and then this song in particular, because I had the soundtrack. I was given the soundtrack by a friend before I'd even seen or heard the game, and I listened to this over and over and over and over again. And for the longest time, I actually had it set up with my turntables, and I would like play the song, and I would like scratch beats and stuff to the soundtrack. And I loved it so much, and I finally got a chance to play it, and it's just, this song is just so powerful. It's just, I've heard it so many times. It's just every time, it just like makes like the hairs like stand up like on the back of my neck.
I'm still sold on how Aethernaut described his take on Square, because I can totally see it. Like, I can picture some of the older Final Fantasy games and like Secret of Mana. I can picture a group of people sitting around a table. I'm sure this isn't exactly how it happened, mind you, but a group of guys sitting around a table, smiles on their faces, and like, what kind of cool imaginative story can we tell today? Get the pen and paper, we got to write this stuff down. And they're all talking about it and getting excited. They pass their ideas back and forth. Whereas like Final Fantasy 13 and 15, for example, it's just more like, it's the equivalent of walking into like a one of those like new age salons, like one with the sharp clothing comes out like, darling, you need spiky hair, you need these zipper pants, you know what we need? Men on a road trip for no reason whatsoever, and a time travel sword. I don't know, because
are you cool. saying that they're substituting clothing for personality?
Well, style for substance, basically. Yes. Yeah, pretty much. More style for substance, and I feel like they're very lacking in substance.
Yeah,
and it's further proven by the fact that this is a personal statement, mind you. So haters don't hate, but Final Fantasy 15 is coming up soon, and I have really no interest in that at all at this point. Meanwhile, for some reason, World of Final Fantasy clicked for me, even though it's hard to say per se how much love went into it. It sure as heck felt like it had more love in the game than Square has done and forever. To the point where I was like, this is a game that I typically wouldn't even care about, and look at me. I'm sitting here with it. Like, so it's
I'll have to take a look at that one, because I haven't played anything since 12, and I don't even know why I finished 12.
Yeah, I'm the hater. I'm the guy that's hated. I like 12, but For the combat, mind you. not
I'm
for
Captain
anything.
Bosch. That's the only good part of the game.
I'm Bosch of Damaska.
Don't listen to Andor's lies.
All right, let's finish up with your track because I'm actually really interested in hearing this one.
Okay, unlike my previous tracks, I chose this one not so much about what the game or what the music in the game did to me, so much as what the memory of the game does for me. And that's more so to say, well, I'll let the track play first, then I'll say it. The track is from an old classic, Mario Party 1. And the track itself is a remix of the stage Rainbow Castle, and it's done by a guy under the name of Arnie Undercover. You just took a trip to the wondrous Rainbow Castle. Written and composed by a man under the name of Arnie Undercover. This track spoke to me. It is spectacular.
Yeah, I really liked. Well, the guitar was great. I love like that kind of like reverby, kind of dreamy guitar. But that synth is so 80s. I was all over that.
It's
so
like,
good.
Like when I picked this track, I was looking for the game in particular, but this track came out of nowhere for me. And the reason why I looked to Mario Party is because it kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier regarding like access to TV at any which way, access to it online. Games have kind of become, I think they've become more disposable over the years because of how mass produced they've become and how they're more designed with the intent of you playing it for a little bit, get rid of it, get a new game. But couple that with the fact that I feel like my days of couch multiplayer are kind of behind me because people I used to get down with they're not around for it so much anymore. But Mario Party was a very special time for me there in that It was a game that you had to play together in a room. It took a typically in-person mechanic, i.e. board games, and digitized them, and it worked. Your friends would always typically hate you by the end of a game of Mario Party.
Hate you.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Specifically me. There was a running joke in my friend circle where it was like they would have bonus stars at the end of the game, and it would be like, okay, well, obviously Purnell's going to win because they're going to have the over 6'5" star and the like spicy food star and just stars that only I would have access to because I would win all the bonus stars.
So for that music, you think about like the friendships that you had and like maybe the good times that a game like that would bring to you.
Exactly, and then friendships that I subsequently ruined by being good at the game. But
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm here for you, man.
But it's just it really does invoke that sort of memory to me because I look back on games like that and times like that very fondly. I'll be 70 years old in a retirement home, and I was like, remember that time we played Mario Party Mushroom Mix-Up? Man, that was a winger. But it always sticks with me, and that music really invoked that in a very, very nostalgic way.
So what did you think of the track, Dan?
That was an amazing track. That was a really good pick. It made me feel at home. Like it just felt homey to me. It felt warm. It felt inviting. It felt like, when I listen to it, it will make me feel like everything's gonna be all right. I felt like if Nintendo was an Irish company and Mario Party was a response to Super Mario Galaxy, that would have been a perfect fit.
Yeah, there you go. I like that.
Oh, now I'm just picturing like an Irish Mario. He'd be named Blarneo.
Blarneo. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Awesome.
Man, you are the pun master on this show.
I tried. Fixing my little
pop that fake collar of yours. There you go.
I'm here all week, folks.
All right, so for more information on the tracks on the bonus round part of the show, check out rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to their Bandcamps, bios, SoundClouds, and anywhere where you can find their music. Okay. There we go. All right, so thank you for joining us today on Rhythm and Pixels. Our focus on music with emotional gravity.
And the gravity was most definitely felt.
And I really want to thank our guest, Daniel Aethernaut, for joining us today and giving us this topic and sharing his music with us. Thank you.
Thank you guys again for having me on. It was a real pleasure, and hearing a lot of these tracks has really brought me back.
Well, I'm glad that we had some great picks for you that could really take you back and take you inwards. That's what tends to be what happens with us. I like to use this show as an excuse to explore soundtracks and games that I might not have looked at before and find new things to enjoy. So can you maybe tell our audience maybe a little bit more about you or where they can find your music and maybe where they can hear you next?
Okay. If you are local in Denver, I will be playing shows around town. You'll probably hear about it at some point or see it on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, or you can go to Bandcamp and find me there, aethernaut.bandcamp.com. All of my release albums are there. You can get the entire discography for just $4, which is a lot of music for $4. Yeah, and there are some stuff. There's some stuff on SoundCloud as well that is not yet released, but you can still listen to, such as Shine Get.
Okay. Oh, sunshine.
Do you do? Have you done or do you do remixes of classic tunes at all?
I do. My most popular one seems to be the DuckTales NES game, the Moon Level.
Yeah.
I did a remix of that one. I have a couple others in mind that are coming out in the future. I'm not gonna spoil the surprise.
Okay.
Though.
Yeah. Well, we're always looking for new like remixes and covers to like showcase. So we'll be plugging you in the future, definitely.
Awesome. Thank you.
Also, we've had on the show before one of the directors of MagFest, Orvi. Maybe we can make that connection. If you've ever have you heard of MagFest before?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm friends with people that are well in the grouping.
Good. Sweet. Very good, because I feel like that's something that it's a good platform for artists to get involved in.
Well,
Absolutely.
I know one way or the other, they need to get him out there for it, because after that, I mean, aside from like Chipsel, aside from maybe Chipsel, I can't think of a chiptune artist whose tune was played there that got me hopping like his did. So, yeah, he needs to get a shot on one of their stages.
Definitely.
So, but oh god, that was good. You were an awesome guest.
Oh, thank you.
No
Thank you
problem,
very
man.
much.
No problem. It's legit. I loved every track you played. You chose a great topic, and just in general, you were just a good conversationalist. You're good for chatting. So it was just
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you on again sometime. Maybe like in a couple months or so. That'd be great. How about that? What do you say about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just you have my contact info. Just hit me up.
Okay, great.
awesome.
All right, so there's a part of the show. Oh my god.
You do a thing. And
I know I do think
involves-
this is what I told you about crashing from all that caffeine I had earlier today.
This is finally hit.
Yeah. So anyway, if you'd like to send us a message or let us know anything about the show. If you want to tell us about the show because we are not going to remember it, go ahead and send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And if you'd like more information on the show or a full track list, check out the website rhythmandpixels.com. You usually say that. Oh my god.
You crash! You're burning out! You're burning out!
Say it anyway. Say it anyway.
rhythmandpixels.com.
And you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon.
And Stitcher!
And Stitcher.
You forgot Stitcher!
Yes, anywhere where you can get podcasts is usually where you can find our feed, our shows there. Stitcher, iTunes.
You gotta forgive this guy, folks. He chugged like 3 glasses of power drink, some weird container he got from GNC earlier. He showed it to me. It tasted like grape Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And now it's taking the downward spiral.
Got the purple stuff.
Should have went with Sunny D.
Anyway, next week we have a show for you. I don't know what it's going to be yet. We have to decide on that, right?
Yeah, we need to come up with a topic.
So then a week after that, we'll have our podcast anniversary. It's been a full year of your weekly video game music podcast, Rhythm and Pixels.
And it's going to be an interesting one because we're likely looking to do something akin to our best of hits per se.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be a good time. I want to have some surprises planned for you, Pernell.
Uh-oh.
So it's going to be fun for me.
Will there be cake?
I don't know yet.
Will
I
there
don't
be
know.
ice cream?
I don't know if I'm going to be back in town.
Will there be Fruity Pebbles?
We'll have to have at least some Fruity Pebbles. Yeah, so Aethernaut dropped off. He had some computer issues just now. But I want to thank him for being on the show. You can check him out. We'll have all of his links on our website, and we'll have him on the Facebook, too. We'll post some of his YouTube songs there. So anyway, we've been the Rhythm and Pixels Video Game Music Podcast. I'm Rob.
And I'm Pernell.
Thanks for listening, and have a great week.
And remember, I know we are a gaming society, and a lot of people tend to play games to get their fun fix and then walk away. But remember, sometimes games can do far more than that. They can evoke emotions. They can evoke all sorts of sensations in a person that may not necessarily come forth in other mediums. I say, when you're done, multiplayer deathmatching, and when you're done, any number of kind of games you might be playing, throwing that basketball and making that shot, hitting that touchdown, sit down with a game that tells a story. Just kind of take it all in, because sometimes the reward in the game may not be the one you expected when you first booted it up, and it's worth exploring to find it.